Schumacher, you hit the wrong part of him, my friend.
Since we have one more race left and it's a title decider, I thought it'd be great to throw it back to one of Formula One's most controversial title deciders. We'll actually be throwing it back to 1997, Michael Schumacher versus Jacques Villeneuve. At the final round of the 1997 season, it was essentially a winner-takes-all situation between Schumacher and Villeneuve, meaning that if one driver finished ahead of the other, they would be crowned the champion. So both drivers had cleared their pit stops, and on lap 48 of the European Grand Prix, Villeneuve was less than a second behind a slow Schumacher. At the dry sack corner of the circuit, Jacques Villeneuve went up the inside of Michael Schumacher in an attempt to overtake him. However, Michael decided to be naughty and turned in on Villeneuve, colliding his front right wheel with the side pod of Jacques Villeneuve's Williams. Instantly, Michael was in the gravel trap. He was attempting to spin his wheels to rejoin the race, but he was out and he had to retire. Martin Brundle, who was commentating on that race, called Michael out the moment it happened. Like, he knew what Michael did. I assume Michael's thought process behind this was, well, there just wasn't any thought behind this move and just pure desperation to win, because had Villeneuve had retired due to the crash, Michael then would have been crowned champion, but this did not pan out for him because Jacques, with his damaged Williams, still went on leading the race up until the last lap when both the McLarens got up to him. He then let them through due to his slower pace, so Mika Hakkinen went on to win that race, and then David Coulthard finished in second. Jacques Villeneuve finished in third, meaning that he won the WDC with 3 points ahead of Michael. The funny thing is, though, when the stewards initially reviewed this, they deemed it to be a racing incident. However, all media, all who were broadcasting this race, noted that Michael purposely turned his car into Jacques, and boy, were they angry. They were essentially calling for Michael's head. And because Michael had intentionally crashed into Jacques, he was summoned by the FIA for a hearing, and on November 11th, 1997, the FIA announced that Michael Schumacher would be outright disqualified from the 1997 WDC, so not only did he lose out on the championship, but he also lost out in second place in the standings as well. But they did allow him to keep his race victories, and Ferrari still maintained second position in the standings. This was so controversial because, yes, Michael did attempt to deliberately take out his opponent during the title decider, but also this was not the first time that he did this, because back in 1994 at the Australian Grand Prix with another 1-point title decider, Michael Schumacher's Benetton hit the wall, and as he made his way back on track, his rival Damon Hill tried to pass him, and what did Michael do? He turned in on him, and he had to retire because of damage. And Damon Hill was also unlucky because a few laps later, due to damage, he also had to retire, meaning that Michael would go on to win this title. While that specific incident was deemed as a racing incident by the stewards, there was a lot of talk stating that what Michael did was deliberate and not okay. And while the saying goes, once is an accident and twice is a coincidence, in the case of the 1997 season, Michael did go on to say that the crash of Villeneuve was a mistake, so he did admit to it, but he said that it was not deliberate and it was a misjudgment. So that is the story of the 1997 final battle. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in 2025 with our title decider, and I'm curious to see if there's going to be any dramatics that come into play as well.